Be it a specific team, player, or something to do with the league's day-to-day operations, there are several things related to the 2020 NFL season that require you to keep your expectations minimal. Don't always buy the offseason hype, and things will be different this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. With that said, here's a look at our predictions for the 10 biggest disappointments for the 2020 NFL season. Number 10. Derek Carr. Carr rebounded from a disappointing 2018 campaign and actually fared nicely in 2019. His second season under head coach John Gruden. Carr posted a 70.4 completion percentage, the best of his career, to go along with a career-best 4,054 passing yards and 21 touchdowns against just 8 interceptions. The Raiders quickly went to work in improving the supporting cast around Carr. They signed future Hall of Famer Jason Witten and speedy wideout Nelson Aguilar, before drafting future superstar Henry Ruggs with the number 12 pick in the draft. And don't sleep on South Carolina product Bryan Edwards, whom the Raiders took in the 3rd round at number 81 overall. So if Carr is coming off his best statistical season yet, and if he has all these new weapons to work with, he should reach an MVP caliber level and take Vegas to the playoffs, right? Well, we're not buying it. Carr's stats are fancy and all, but he's only had one winning season through 6 years. His record as a starter is 39-55, and it's not as if he's never had a quality supporting cast. If anything, we could see Marcus Mariota replacing a struggling Carr and reviving his career under Gruden. We've seen enough of Carr to determine that he's not going to be a true superstar in this league. Number 9. Cleveland Browns. Last year, we fell into the trap of buying into the offseason hype surrounding the Cleveland Browns. Odell Beckham Jr. was supposed to take this offense to a whole new level, and the defense led by Myles Garrett would help the Browns end a 17-year playoff drought. Well, listen, we don't think the Browns can possibly be as bad as last year, and we really want to pick them to make the playoffs. I mean, Kevin Stefanski is way more qualified as a head coach than Freddie Kitchens, and surely Garrett and Baker Mayfield will mature and grow into bigger stars, right? But yeah, we just can't see it. If we've learned anything throughout the years, it is to never trust the Browns, no matter how much promise they enter a season with. Why should we expect this year to be any different? Number 8. Lamar Jackson's MVP again. Don't get us wrong, the Baltimore Ravens are a primary Super Bowl contender. They're the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, but all we're saying is that Lamar Jackson is destined for regression. So, you fantasy owners better keep your expectations reasonable. Look at Patrick Mahomes, for crying out loud. We all knew that he wouldn't hit 50 touchdowns again. He averaged 30.7 less yards per game in 2019 and had just 26 touchdowns in 14 games. Of course, the statistical regression didn't matter since he led KC to a Super Bowl 54 title. Jackson and the Ravens have all the makings to win Super Bowl 55.
You're looking forward to today?
I'm looking forward to being a Raven.
What are they getting?
Everything out of me. They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that.
But come on. He's not going to lead the NFL with 36 touchdown passes again. He's not going to have a touchdown percentage of 9.0. He's not going to rush for 1,206 yards again. Jackson will still be a top 5 or 10 quarterback this year. His Ravens can absolutely go on a playoff run, but don't expect him to repeat last season's stats. Don't expect another MVP award. And please, don't expect him to be the top fantasy quarterback in 2020. Number 7. The 2020 rookie class. The 2020 draft class should go down as one of the best ever. You have 2 absolute can't-miss quarterback prospects in Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, several stud offensive tackles, many grade A wide receivers, plus future superstar defensive players in Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons, and Derek Brown. We have little doubt that this will go down as one of the greatest draft classes ever. But we have plenty of doubt that the rookies in general will dominate as much as analysts, fans, and pundits had hoped. Because of COVID-19, teams have had limited practice time, and there was no preseason to get the players fully ready. Yeah, it affects guys like Tom Brady, Cam Newton, and Teddy Bridgewater, who are with new coaches, teams, and offensive systems, but at least they have lots of experience at the professional level. Make no mistake, guys like Burrow and Young should dominate right off the bat, but the rookie offensive linemen, receivers, and defensive players have so much to learn in such a short time. This isn't at all on the rookies. It's just the reality the league has had to deal with with in a very unorthodox year. Number 6, the Detroit Lions' billionth attempt at the Patriot way. In case you haven't noticed, the long-time losing Detroit Lions have tried awfully hard to become their own version of the New England Patriots. GM Bob Quinn worked as a scout for the Patriots and was on staff for their first 4 Super Bowl championships. Head coach Matt Patricia previously served as the defensive coordinator in New England. Quinn has also signed a plethora of former Patriots dating back to 2018. The list includes running back LeGarrette Blount, wide receiver Danny Amendola, and defensive end Trey Flowers. Then, this offseason, they added Jamie Collins, Danny Shelton, and Deron Harmon. Matthew Stafford was enjoying an MVP-like season in Darrell Bevell's system before a back injury forced him to miss the second half. But the Lions are literally just trying to become the Patriots 2.0, and both Quinn and Patricia have shown that they're not exactly qualified for their respective positions. So who cares how much talent the Lions have? The leadership from the front office and the coach isn't there, and they'll continue to hold back this team from reaching its full potential. Number 5, New England Patriots defense. Speaking of the Patriots, a year ago, Bill Belichick's unit finished first in both scoring defense and in yards. They only allowed 14.1 points and 275.9 yards per game. The special teams unit blocked 4 punts, and they recorded 36 total takeaways. But there is practically zero reason to believe that their defense will be an elite unit once again. Yes, they still have reigning Defensive Player of the Year Stephen Gilmore and the McCourty twins, but the Pats lost linebacker Jamie Collins and Kyle Van Noy, safety Darren Harmon, and veteran tackle Danny Shelton. On top of that, Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung chose to opt out of the season. Bill Belichick didn't do much to address his free agent departures at the draft, and with Hightower and Chung opting out, he was given very little time to find their replacements. Good luck finding suitable fill-ins with no preseason and little practice time. We wouldn't be surprised if the new Cam Newton-led offense took the Patriots to the postseason, but their defense is set up for a big-time regression in 2020. Number 4, the injured reserve. In a violent, punishing sport like football, a plethora of injuries are inevitable. They happen all the time, there's just no way around it. Unfortunately, there could very well be a spike in names on the injured reserve this year. With changes in training camp and the offseason workouts, and with players' bodies not as physically prepared and ready, the possibility of increased injuries seems very likely. Fingers crossed that this isn't the case, but if several teams experience COVID-19 outbreaks like we saw in Major League Baseball, this will lead to a rapid increase in players on the IR. And it could be difficult keeping the COVID numbers down considering how large the NFL rosters and coaching staffs are compared to other sports. Again, we can only hope for the best here. But if there are COVID-19 outbreaks, or if more players are injured this year as a result of the limited offseason, there could be an unusually large number of players on the IR. Let's just hope that this doesn't end up being the case. Number 3, 2019 Conference Championship runner-ups. The Green Bay Packers enjoyed a remarkable turnaround season with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, a revamped defense, and a new head coach in Matt LaFleur. They won 13 games, tied for the most in the NFC, and went all the way to the Conference Championship game, where they fell to the San Francisco 49ers. Over on the other side, the Tennessee Titans embarked on a feel-good Cinderella run in the AFC, led by comeback player of the year Ryan Tannehill and rushing champion Derrick Henry. The Titans ended the Tom Brady era in Foxborough before taking down Lamar Jackson and the top-seeded Ravens in the divisional round. Unfortunately, their fairy tale season ended at the hands of KC in the AFC title game. As fun as the Packers and Titans were last season, they're also poised for regression in 2020. Rodgers' relationship with the Pack may be soured following their decision to draft a parent successor, Jordan Love. This team didn't add any pass catchers, which Rodgers desperately needs, and the defense as a whole overachieved last year. A tougher schedule and division will make it hard for that unit to repeat its success. The Packers could win the NFC North again, but they won't top 11 wins, and they won't get past the divisional round this time. They're a step behind the 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, New Orleans Saints, and possibly even the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. As for the Titans, they might sneak in the playoffs with 8, 9, or 10 wins, but Tannehill isn't going to repeat his MVP-like season over a 16-game stretch. Henry will regress a bit too. The departure of Jack Conklin on the O-line doesn't help, and we're concerned about the losses of Logan Ryan and Jerome Casey on defense. Add it all up, and it's safe to say that the reigning AFC and NFC runner-ups won't come anywhere close to last season's success. Number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, they signed 2 GOATs in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Suddenly, this mediocre mediocre franchise that hasn't made the playoffs since 2007 is must-watch TV. But why oh why are people hyping up the Bucs as Super Bowl contenders? No doubt the offense is loaded with Brady and Gronk joining Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, OJ Howard, and Ronald Jones, but that O-line has a lot of question marks on it. The front seven is great and all, but who in the secondary will stop Matt Ryan, Teddy Bridgewater, and Drew Brees in that division? And how will Brady adapt to Bruce Arians' complex offense that is the complete opposite of the one TB12 had in New England? A 43-year-old joining a new team with a completely different set of playmakers and very little time to prepare. Not to mention that Brady's been on the decline for 3 years now. Give the Bucs 9 or 10 wins max and a wild card berth, but please stop with the Super Bowl contenders talk. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. Number 1. Game day atmosphere. What more can we say? We'll happily argue that football has the best game day atmosphere. There's simply nothing like having over 50,000 fans at a stadium screaming their lungs out in order to throw off the opposing offense. Fans play a bigger factor in football than any other major sport in North America. And then there's the whole game day experience itself. Those of us who attend games can enjoy the tailgating parties and all the delicious stadium food and beers. Really, there is nothing like going to an NFL game. But there won't be that this year. Several teams have already announced that they won't have any fans for their 2020 home games. This includes the Raiders, and come on now, everyone wanted to see how Sin City would party with their new NFL team. Some teams will have crowds with extremely limited capacity, but it won't be the same. And many teams who have to play without any fans are going to be affected by it. Home advantage isn't going to be much of a factor, and the overall viewing quality just won't be the same. It's just the cold hard truth. We have to be thankful that a season is even happening, but it's also hard to be just as excited this year when you know that the in-game atmosphere won't be epic like it is in every other year. But hey, what do you think will be the NFL's biggest disappointment this year? Join us in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.